Dermot Morgan's anniversary, the first anniversary of his death, falls on Monday next. This morning from RT's Sound Archives, part 2 of our tribute programme to him, to mark his contribution to Irish radio. He was most famous, of course, for Scrap Saturday, and our first choice from the archives this morning gives you some idea of how he worked, how he could exploit an open goal, if a politician gave him half an opening. But first the context. A regular target was the then Foreign Minister Gerard Collins, and believed by some to be a potential bidder for the leadership of Fianna Fáil when a vacancy occurred.
And now, Collins of Arabia.
Firstly, let me say that neutrality is a very important part of our policy. There are two sides to this whole issue, my good side and my not so good side, and I appeal to the photographers to take my good side. On the one hand, of course, we're appalled.
And when a vote of confidence was called in Charles Haughey's leadership of the party late in 1991, Gerry Collins made a famous broadcast. The then most significant defector from the Haughey camp was his finance minister, Albert Reynolds. And of course, the significance of that defection was soon seen when Albert Reynolds became leader of the party some months later. But when his exit from the Haughey cabinet was imminent, some weeks before, Gerry Collins famously appealed to him on RTE television news. This was to be satirised by Dermot Morgan on that week's Scrap Saturday, and here's a chance to hear both broadcasts. First, the actuality of Gerry Collins on TV News.
The declaration this evening by Albert Reynolds that he's to try and vote Charlie Haughey out of office and take it on for himself. I think this is going to wreck our party right down the centre and is going to burst up government, and is certainly not going to serve the best interests of the people. What Albert is doing now is so wrong that he should, even at this late stage, pull back from wrecking the government and throwing the country into a state of panic and chaos. And I, for my part, I'm supporting my Taoiseach. I trust him. I respect his authority, his office and the dignity of that office. And might I say, Albert, before you vote and before you issue this particular statement in the formal sense, Albert, face up to your responsibilities, and if you feel as solemnly as you believe you do, well then you've no option but to give us your resignation even before you vote.
Needless to say, this was the sort of broadcast which was grist to Dermot Morgan's mill. And as you'll hear now, there wasn't too much rewriting needed by Dermot when he covered the affair on that week's Scrap Saturday.
Oh, Albert. This is me, Gerard, speaking to you, Albert. Howl. Oh, you are men of stone. Albert, you're a howl with this carry on yourself. I beg you, please, even now, desist. Draw back. Even now. You'll wreck the party, so you will. You're showing frightful political immaturity. How sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless Minister for Finance. Blow winds, crack your cheeks. How rage you hurricanes. Spout fire, spit rain, spout. You'll burst the party. You're going to burst it. That's what you're going to do. You'll wreck it. Burning, scalding stench, corruption, fie. I myself have no leadership ambitions.
And our last illustration of Dermot Morgan's talent this morning comes from this Haughey Mara sketch, broadcast when Charles Haughey was leading his last government. Many of those who'd been his closest acolytes had decided that this was to be his last government, although Charles Haughey himself hadn't given up all hope. But the writing seemed to be on the wall. Some had even been so bold as to tell him to his face in the Fianna Fáil rooms in Leinster House that they never wanted to fight another election with his face on the poster. But some few remained faithful. But who were the Haughey loyalists? This was a situation easily exploited by Dermot Morgan's pen and voice.
Mara, yes, what yes. This ad in the Irish Times job seeker column. Oh, eh? Executive with press management skills seeks appointment. Pleasant disposition, can take pressure, used to dealing with awkward customers. I wonder who that might be, Mara.
Oh, no idea, boss.
It's you, Mara, thinking the end is nigh.
Well, it's just the wife and kids, boss. I have to earn a crust somehow.
Mara, keep this nonsense up and you will be qualified as manager, sewage treatment station Ringsend, understood? And I can give you more shit than the whole of Dublin.
I know, yeah.
And I know how to create a real sting.
Yes, boss.
Stop blubbering. Here's a copy of another of those programmes for national something or other. Dry your tears. Be rational, man. Who do you imagine might be able to challenge me?
Well, boss,
Yes?
Well, Albert, I suppose. He has the troops with him.
The troops behind Reynolds? I think not.
Well, he has the officers.
Officers? What officers? You call one P. Flintstone an officer? More non-com material, I think you'll agree.
Well, there are others with Albert, boss.
Who? John Ellis? Liam Lawler? Good old Lord Lucan? I think not. I have my cohorts, my loyal following, especially young Lochinvar, that prince among thieves, Bertie. What preferment can Albert offer him that I would not?
Well, the environment, boss. He's offering him the environment. Oh,
I'm sorry, an officer, especially the commanding officer, should never strike a man. It's just that I've been under a little pressure lately. Mara, you poor child, come here, sit on my knee.
right.
It's one thing to count the half-crowns at the back of the dance hall and deal with gutty showband managers. Quite another to deal with the economy of a nation.
But he ran a successful pet food business and he made a fortune. Well, Albert's a self-made man like yourself, boss.
Self-made man? A fortune indeed. No mystery about making a fortune from grinding up knackered horses to keep Rover's coat shiny. The punters can see the trick. They can see what's up his sleeve. They can see how he made his fortune. They could never fathom how I made mine. That's why I have an air of mystery, charisma, enigma. I'll make pet food of Albert. New chopped finance minister gets the dogs barking, and now that he has them barking, he has no bite. New pal, or should that be old chum, with added liver, lily liver, and a strong hint of chicken.